Coming off a really exciting game against the Pittsburgh Steelers that saw us have to sit Bryce Young due to a lingering injury, and we gave Max Duggan the start and he impressed. The short medium game was really good from him. He did struggle in the deep, but he did really well managing the game and focusing the offense on Chuba Hubbard, who had the breakout opportunity. He either needed 150 total yards or 3 touchdowns. And at half, he had a touchdown. He had about 75 yards. We ended up having to change a little bit of the game plan, focus on getting the ball to him through the air in the second half, and we nearly came away with a win, but did drop it to the Steelers 20-19, but we did get that breakout opportunity for Chuba Hubbard. And as we begin today's episode, we have some roster work to do. We have had one of the worst passing defenses in the league so far, bottom 5, and it's pretty close to quickly dropping to at least the second to last. Chargers firmly holding that, and that was the team that we have our one and only win against this season. So we need some work to happen with this defense. We're giving up a lot of points, most in the NFL currently, 159. As for sacks, we are bottom half, well below average. We're just not getting anything going there. And interception-wise, we're really not getting much involved either. So we have a couple things in mind here to help us try to at least get through this season. Now, we have tried and tried to get these edge guys going, specifically at the left outside linebacker spot, and they just aren't. However, there is a guy who might be able to help us out in a different way with Gross Matos. He has a player tag of a trade target young, so we're going to use that. And for us, this is the selection we want to go with. The Browns are offering a developmental defensive tackle plus a current 6th and future 7th round pick. Now let's take a look at the guy they are offering. Siaki Ika? Probably not. I'm really bad with these names, but he's a big dude we could try to develop down the middle. He's not very fast, but he's a guy we could get to develop behind Grover Stewart, and who knows, maybe eventually he could take over that role. Either way, we need to get him out there a little bit, get him developing, and he's not doing that with the Browns. Plus, we pick up a few extra picks as well. Now, we did have to tack on, obviously, the tight end showing up here in Byron. He's a 59. Essentially, it's just a cut. It's a cap move, but that makes it even for both sides, and we get a player to develop. And on top of that, we're also going to make a free agent signing, and that's going to be for Kyle Fuller. He's 32 years old. He's definitely lost a step. He's 76 overall, but he still has some pretty decent speed and acceleration. The coverages are just well balanced across the board, but primarily we're making this selection because there's some better play recognition and some better awareness, and he'll be taking over for Isaiah Oliver. It would also be better than us moving CJ Gardner-Johnson to the cornerback spot. We thought about it. It just did not seem like it was going to quite fit as well as this move will make. So Kyle Fuller is coming in. Now, obviously, we're over the limit. We already talked about Joey Byron. He was going to be a straight cut from the get-go. But we also need to narrow things down, and that's probably going to be at the cornerback spot with us bringing in Isaiah Oliver. I still plan on starting Jaquan Cash at the slot spot. So essentially, we got to get rid of some of these younger guys, and I think the best option for us is probably to move on from Isaiah Brown, considering he's 26 years old and a 65 overall. He's never going to be in the starting lineup for us. Unfortunately, though, for this Vikings game, we will be without Jaquan Cash, who did suffer a practice injury. It's turf toe. He'll be able to bounce back next week. And speaking of bounce back, Bryce Young is going to try to start today. We'll see how he does. Obviously, Max Duggan had a really good game last time out. Bryce Young, he's been shaken up. And while he's been shaken up, his play has been off by a good bit. Hopefully, the week's rest helped him recover. He's back out there. We'll see how he does. Now, with these defensive changes, it's kind of shaking up the starting lineup a little bit, so let's go over it. DJ Johnson, he's going to get his first start at left outside linebacker. If he doesn't do well, we have Enagbar and we have Fitzgerald. Those two have gotten a chance to start and didn't record a single stat, so hopefully Johnson doesn't end up repeating that. Fuller is obviously going to be out at the cornerback spot. He'll be cornerback 2. When we get to the specialists, once again, we're rocking with DJ Johnson. Again, if he doesn't perform, we could definitely switch out to the other two guys. As for the slot corner, it will not be Oliver, who's technically slightly overall. It will be the other rookie in Crowley. At this point, we know what we have in Oliver, and we're not too impressed. Let's give the rookie an opportunity to see what he can do. And to be frank, he doesn't have great ratings. The man coverage without the morale taking it down is a 70 with the zone, a 57. So I don't expect great things from him, but I want to see at least what he could do for a game. And considering the Vikings really only ever have a top 1 and 2 receiver, not really that third guy, hopefully Crowley doesn't get destroyed. If he is getting destroyed, we can make a change in the game, but we're going to rock with him for this one. So with all of those changes done now, we are back almost fully healthy. Obviously, Jacon Cash is out, but we got Bryce Young back. We have a superstar running back in Chuba Hubbard. We made a couple changes on defense in time to face Justin Jefferson and the Minnesota Vikings. 85 offense, 80 defense. They have the second passing game in the NFL, second defensive passing game, 12th in defensive points per game. They've got some good things. They're also pretty weak in some areas. So let's try to take advantage of that and have ourselves another good game. And if we can get a win, that would be great. Let's get this battle underway. As Lutz boots it off, we got Sims back to return, and he will return. Trying to find some space down the middle. He will get up to about the 25 or 22 before getting popped. Definitely not the 25, but Bryce Young back healthy, hopefully. How well can he do? Again, in week 1 of this season, when he was healthy, he had an NFC Player of the Week performance. However, when he's getting hit fairly frequently, we have probably one of the worst performances. So we start with Chuba Hubbard getting the halfback screen to the outside, picking up 6. Really need to slowly work Young back into the game. Keep him clean is a priority. Though as we spread empty, we'll see how well that works. As we find Mingo, who does not hold on to that one. Knocked free by someone wearing Eric Kendricks' number. I don't appreciate that. I know some people aren't as big of a fan of Eric Kendricks, but he was a great linebacker. Watch his tape. Solid, guys. We find Chuba Hubbard right down the middle. He weaves, but not by Bynum. A touchdown-saving tackle. Now, one thing or at least I definitely know from the Minnesota Vikings, is they don't have the best cornerback group. They have some promise, but a lot that needs to be developed. So we might try to attack downfield a little bit more today, or Young just go ahead and scamper forward, dipping out at the 27. End up marking that as a gain of 27. And when he gets the legs moving as well, the team moves a whole lot smoother. So hopefully we can get that going a little bit as well, as we get Jordan Thomas on the quick drag, picking up another first down. We're inside the 15. We really haven't given Jordan Thomas any crazy route concepts, but when he's gotten the ball in his hands, he feels like he can make some big plays. As speaking of big plays, Ivan Pace gets the stop right down the middle. Cam Akers technically taking on his former team in this series as we look for a little bit of some play action roll. Again, we need to contain the outside. Look for a throw. Hayden Hurst, a beautiful drive to start us off. Bryce Young back where he should be as we find Hayden Hurst, our tight end 1. Those 31-year-old knees, not a problem for Hurst, as now we have to shift focus over to defense. Sam Darnold is the quarterback here of the Vikings, and he's had a pretty similar start to the year than I would say of Young. Though slightly better, or actually with that previous touchdown, actually the same touchdown to interception ratio. As we have to have a little bit of some better coverage today and a little bit quicker reactions there. Deion Jones just another step behind. That's really been the downfall of our defense this whole season. We're always just a step too late on making the big plays. Also very funny that they have, why can I not remember his name? Or why can we not tackle? As they have A.J. Dillon, the new running back here for the Minnesota Vikings. They still are not giving the ball to Ty Chandler. But I was trying to talk about Sam Darnold. It's funny that they gave him Cousins' numbers. Cousins is now with the Jets. We saw that at the halftime break last game, where the Jets are having a decent start. So is A.J. Dillon. He's coming off a decent game last week, 15 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. As they do have Justin Jefferson playing a little bit of some slot here. Hopefully we don't see our young, freshman, rookie on him, but he does pick up the first down. Now, if we see them using Justin Jefferson in the slot like that, we might have to definitely switch out, because I do not want the young guy as Wanham nearly gets a sack on his former team, though not a former quarterback of his. Wanham got his first sack, I believe, of the season last week in that second half. He's gotten close several times, just hasn't quite been able to get there consistently, as is DJ Johnson, the first left end or left outside backer to get a sack for us. I guess we'll find out very soon if we should have went Johnson's way much earlier on. As they're trying to set up the tight end screen, they do get it out to Hawkinson, but he's not going to get away from Horn. They have a 4th and 18. They're at the 41. It would be a long field goal, but it's one they're going to give Lutz a try. At the 48 would be a 58-yarder. Our field goal guy in Ford, he hit a 61 last week, and he's definitely looking like the better kicker so far, and he hasn't even been on the field as Lutz misses that one well to the right. But that gives us a great opportunity here to try to widen our lead as we start just shy of midfield, as we turn the stretch more so into a dive, picking up 5. Try to utilize these tight ends a little bit more here against this Vikings secondary or even linebacker group. We'll just get this one straight out to Hubbard, who will sprint and pick up the first down before getting bumped out. Danielle Hunter there in quick pursuit. But we'll continue on here with Hubbard and the run game. Try to find some space to the outside. Bounce maybe back in and take a big shot there from Bynum. So far, knock on wood, O-line holding up against the pass rush here from the Vikings. As we'll look to set up a halfback screen, which Harrison Phillips did very well against. So on 3rd and 7 at the 38, we'll go back to what we trust most. A lot of these drag concepts, try to get the tight ends open, find some space, as it is Hurst. He's close. But Asamoah makes the stop, and we head into the second quarter with a decision to make. We could very easily send Ford out here, kick the field goal, or we could try to go for it. 4th and 2. They only have 3 defensive linemen. A hard count, no one jumps. As we go with a read option, it's going to be Bryce Young down the middle. He shakes and bakes and fumbles. Luckily, Jennings jumps on it, but Bryce Young is shaken up again. So out comes Mac Dugan. I don't know what it is with Bryce Young, but he refuses to slide. Well, can the backup do it for us again here? As we get it out to Chuba Hubbard, it gets jumped by Lewis Seen, and he's headed the opposite way. What was such a promising start quickly flipped on its head as we have a tied game following the pick 6. But it would at least appear Bryce Young headed back out here with the offense. And we probably need to eliminate pretty much all rushing with him, as Chuba Hubbard bursts right through the middle, picking up a nice gain. Well, Hubbard, the offense is back on you. Well, that's something he's probably become pretty accustomed to. As we're up to the 42, have to answer the turnover about as quickly as we can, as that one's swatted down by Harrison Hitman Smith. Perhaps just force-feeding Hubbard on that throw was Young. Leaves us with 2nd and 10. We stick with the same look. Just need a quick throw. As we go Jennings, he holds on to that one. Blackman was pretty quick to get the tackle there, but not quick enough to knock it away. Leaves us with 3rd and short at midfield as we look for the draw. Hubbard trying to bounce around, find some space before Hitman delivers the hit. Luckily for us, though, not quick enough to keep that from being a first down. So this drive will continue as we look to go with the halfback screen this time. Enough time to get it set up as we pick up almost all the blocks there. Make it 2nd and 1 after the gain of 9. Obviously not trying to stretch the field too much, but at least since that injury, the accuracies haven't been too bad from Young. Just need to see that hopefully continue as Hayden Hurst just blanked out there. That should have been a catch for the first. Honestly, not quite sure why that animation is even in the game. Should at least be attempted. 3rd and 1. It's Akers who gets stood up, but just manages the first. We'll say we brought Akers in to try to be a little bit of a power back with some hands, and we have not seen much of the power game from him. So that is still something we are looking to try to find as pass rush hits home a little late there. We luckily get the ball out though. So on 2nd and 10, we'll shake it up a little bit here. We got 2 out to the left, 1 to the right. We're still under center, going with a little bit of some more play action. Getting this one out quickly to Hubbard, try to get him on the run as he tiptoes the sideline and once again just manages that first. So on a lot of these first downs, we don't get it by much. As we stick with a similar look here, look for Mingo to that back pylon perhaps. Depending on what the over-the-top safety does, actually looks pretty good. Look for instead the crossing to Jennings, who just does not quite get the edge. Murphy escorts him out of bounds at the 3. And it was a good roll out there from Young. Good accuracy. Delivered a timely ball. Now can we get this one into the end zone? Well, no. The ball pops free again, and it's going to get picked up by Murphy Jr. Chuba Hubbard is in pursuit. Can we limit the defense to just 1 touchdown? Hubbard dives, but comes up empty. The only points on the day today have come from turnovers from our quarterback, returned by the Minnesota Vikings defense. That's now 2 promising drives, which should be 21-0 here, or at least should be 13-0. But clearly, turnovers continue to be a problem for us. And I would say pass rush down the middle also continues to be a problem for us. Center has been a worrisome spot for us, and that might need to be some spot where we make another change before the mid-season hits. Luckily, we hit Tommy Tremble on another nice drag, and we're back up to midfield. We'll say getting this offense to move hasn't been the problem. It's been red zone or near red zone turnovers that have really been the costly factor for us. As we toss that one out, it's for Mingo, and Murphy comes up empty. That should have been a swat. Instead, it's a massive gain for us down to the 3. It was essentially a Hail Mary toss up there for Young. Just let that one rip. A little bit of luck on our side after these turnovers. We just need to get the ball in the end zone as Akers spins down to the 2. And I'm pretty sure Steve Smith Sr. on the sideline saying, just don't pass it. Let's just try to run it in, as we could just walk in untouched. Jacqueline Roy shaken up on the play for the Vikings, but we level this one. And for the first time in a long time, this Minnesota Vikings offense finally gets to touch the field. I don't think they've been out there this second quarter. It's been all our offense or us turning the ball over and them scoring off of it. So they're definitely not really ready. I'm not saying not really ready, but they're probably pretty cold. I'm sure Darnold had been tossing the ball around a little bit on the sideline, but they haven't had much time to catch their flow as they get a 3rd and 1 here. Now would be a great time to see some pass rush from this 5 front, as it will be a throw, and they get the pass to the inside. It's a big hit on Curtis Samuel, but he holds on to it as they're right back out there. Hurry up offense as we're inside the 2-minute. They need some points before halftime, as that is through the hands of Justin Jefferson. Yeah, celebrate that. We got lucky. It's not often at all that Jay Jets drops one when he's not in coverage. Occasionally, yeah, sure, if he's in tight coverage, it might pop out. As they're looking to go deep, having to crash back, it's a bad throw from Darnold. We'll have ourselves a great opportunity to get off the field here, maybe look for some more points before half. And we get lucky once again. Jordan Addison was open. Darnold, bad throw. Defense gets off the field. And we'll say it's definitely nice to be on the positive side of some bad quarterback play. As we head out here with the offense, they look like they might be sending Hitman here. And indeed they do. Trying to step up in the pocket as we get Hubbard to the sideline. A great catch. Or not. They say we did not get that foot in. And it's also kind of cool that they have Bobby Wags. I'll let Bobby Wags wear 54 now that I know who that is wearing Kendrick's number. As we get the halfback screen to the outside, Chuba Hubbard steps out. He probably could have gained an extra couple yards there, but we pick up the first. Gotta make sure we celebrate some of the little things, because we've seen games where the little things were just non-existent. We have a little bit over a minute left here. Still have 3 timeouts. Look for Chenault to the outside. It is tight coverage, but not good blocking there. It's Eli Apple about to get toasted. Now, we definitely have not done a great job of getting Laviska Chenault involved this season, and I would like to get him involved more if he gets open more. As we make a couple of audibles here, we got 2 guys going deep on the left, Mingo on the right-hand side. We're going to have that be a curl, see if that opens things up down the seam. As we just need that over the linebacker, and Harrison just gets enough, the back tip of that ball to knock it away from Hayden Hurst. It was close to being another big play through the air for us. Leaves us 2nd and 10. As we go back, Chuba Hubbard trying to find space down the middle. It's swallowed up. So 3rd and 9. Clock is running. We have not called any of our timeouts yet because we don't really want to call them if we're not really in field goal range. As we have our guy, it's a great adjustment from Tommy Tremble. It was not a well-placed ball, but it got us the first down. And how often do we celebrate a bad throw while we're out there on offense? It leaves us with 26 seconds. We're about in field goal range due to how good our rookie kicker is. As we have Hayden Hurst, he's sitting wide open. We'll turn down the sideline. We're out at the 14. This is a great opportunity for us to capitalize off of what has been a lot of mistakes, make up for him here before the end of the first half. As we look for Chuba Hubbard to the outside, he gets both feet in this time. No incomplete pass, not even close. Both feet and probably even an elbow down inbounds as we take a lead now into half. And it was a half that saw a lot of good play. Unfortunately, though, there were just 2 plays that went bad for us, and those 2 plays resulted in a pick 6 and a scoop and score for the Minnesota Vikings defense, and that is the only reason the Vikings are in this game right now. It should be well in hand. We just have to make sure we keep it well in hand. As we look around the league here, Buccaneers, they're currently up on the Giants 7-3. Both teams not off to a good start, though can't really say much more than that for ourselves. As we look to the second game, 49ers taking on the Bears. It's all 49ers in this one, 27-7. The Bears 1-4 of a start this year, and they were the leader of the NFC North last year. As for our last one, another NFC North team, it's the Lions taking on the Cardinals. And it is a close game, tie game, 7-7 going into half. Not many points scored there. And that's one thing that definitely could not be said about our game. As the Minnesota Vikings, they start out on offense for the second half. They haven't been able to put anything together offensively. They've gotten some decent plays like they do there, as now DJ Johnson shaken up. The only guy off that left side to get a sack for us this year, and now that's going to bring out Enagbar, a guy who has very much struggled in his limited time out there, but hey, you know, any specific game can kind of really change the course of a season for any particular player or team. He has an opportunity. We also will see Fitzgerald have an opportunity. Looks like those guys are going to switch depending on whether it's nickel or in the base package, as it's either a throwaway or another bad throw there from Darnold. He's 8 of 14. Though it does look like DJ Johnson says enough of their opportunity. They each got 1 play. I'm headed back out, so we'll see how well he can continue as their fullback just kind of hurdled Stockton. It was a very low hurdle, but it was enough to get him the first down. 1st and 10 at the 45 as they spread to a shotgun. As we bring a little bit of a blitz and they run right behind it, breaking off the tackles. It was a bad attempt. I'm not sure who that previous tackle attempt was. I don't know if that was CJ Johnson, Gardner Johnson or not, but either way, it's Dylan in the end zone. And just like that, we have a tied game despite our defense only giving up 1 touchdown and our offense scoring 3. Goes to show how it's really just our mistakes today that are costing us. As we get this one out, a nice little sidearm to Thomas, who will pick up 9. Now, hard to say with the looks that we get from Thomas if he has the ability to truly become a number 1 tight end for us, or if he's really going to continue to probably be a rotational guy. But who's not a rotational guy is Chuba Hubbard, as he once again squeezes out another first down. As we're up to the 37, keeping with the heavy look, though looking for a quick pass, we find Jordan Thomas, who holds on to that one despite the hit from Bobby Wags. Obviously, Wags not the same Wags of the peak of his career, but he sure could still be a solid guy out there. As we find Chuba Hubbard, not going to juke by Blackman. That is a great open field tackle, but once again, he just edges out the first. Really seems to take a lot to get him down prior to that line to gain, as we have the RPO dialed up here, and we will keep the run part of it. It's another short game. Cam Akers, the 1-yard specialist today. Maybe credit that to the fact that they did bring in Williams, and he's been involved frequently on these plays. As we're spreading wide, got 2 either side. Hurst on the deep route. See how much that opens up or how little that opens up. As we have a guy across the middle, we get lucky. Bobby Wags dropped that one. Mingo decided to extend the route and nearly cost us our drive. We just needed him to continue to sit right down the middle, and we possibly could have found him. At least more safer if it was still going to be an incomplete pass. As they do send the corner blitz, we get knocked off the route, and Bobby Wags knocks that one away. 4th and 9, negative territory, got a punt. But following the first score from the Vikings offense, their defense put together their best drive. Obviously not capitalizing on our own mistake, as they have done a couple times. Loading up to go deep. It's a one-hand grab by J-Jets. Was a little bit behind him. Sidney Brown was just sitting there. Thought he was going to get the easy pick. But nothing comes easy when you're guarding J-Jets. One heck of a grab as they're up to midfield. Going down the middle, Dillon trying to find some space. A great tackle there from Brown. And I will say, we brought in Brown to be that man cover guy, provide some run stop ability, and he's done just that as Crowley misses the sack. And are they going to get CJ Gardner-Johnson for DPI here? I don't know about that. That seems a little bit like a cheap call to me. Well timed. But I guess Jordan Addison is getting those calls in his sophomore season here, as that one just as well timed. Deion Jones, and Hawkinson looks like he awkwardly landed on that shoulder, though it's the ankle or lower body that apparently is injured. Either way, he's going to head off the field, leaving 2nd and 5. They're at the 35. As it will be a pass going to Dillon, who holds on to that one. Crowley with a timely hit does not timely knock it away. But that does leave Biggs versus Biggs here. 3rd and 1. Can our defensive line get a nice stop here? Scrunching down as we assume they go to Dillon. Instead, it's a pass, and it's knocked away from, I believe, a possible rookie receiver of theirs. Yarborough not able to hold on to it. They sent out Lutz. He missed his first opportunity, though this one puts the Vikings in front. But I think what we need is one of those long, draining drives that we had quite a few of in that first half before obviously we then turn the ball over. So let's not turn the ball over and finish this one off with a touchdown. Because right now I feel like the Minnesota Vikings definitely building that momentum, and we need to pull it back our way as we had for much of that first half, as Hubbard nearly broke through there for a big gain. It's still a good gain as we pick up another first down. Hubbard, as he typically has been, very consistent today as we look for a little bit of some play action off of him. See if we can find some space downfield, or we just end up checking it right back to him. Harrison Smith with an aggressive end of that play, but technically it was still clean. Contact was made while still inbounds. The play just continued a little bit outside as it's 2nd and 2. We switch to a spread, shotgun, but tight formation. Not very much spread, and we just get one. Need to make sure we pick up the first down here. It's a 3rd and a long one, about 1.5 yards. As the blocks down the middle open up well for Akers, and he finally picks up much more than just one. Bumps up his average from 1 yard to much more, as he has a total of 21 as we head into the 4th quarter with a total of 21 points, though down to the Vikings, who despite only scoring twice on an offensive drive, have 24. So this is a big drive. Again, we need to continue the slow, methodical play or pop this one deep here for Hayden Hurst. Need to catch it in bounds, and we definitely saw those toes tapping as we're down to the 4. We'll say we didn't have much of a deep passing game for most of the games this season, but Bryce Young coming off of injury, he's getting the ball downfield pretty well as we're trying to stretch to the outside. It's a great pursuit angle there from Ivan Pace Jr. We haven't seen him out there all too much. We've seen Asamoah, we've seen Wags, but Pace should be out there a lot more. As we go with the screen, Hubbard breaks off of one, but then eats the shoulder of Phillips. That leaves us with a 3rd and goal. We stay spread empty, and we had Chenault, but there was too much loft on that throw. Needed to zing that one in there. It would have been a lead. Instead, Bynum knocks it away. Ford is out here to tie the game up. As we slowly let that meter run, it is going to be 24-24. Ford has been solid for us. And now we need the defense to be phenomenal for us. As the Vikings start with a tight set, try to get to the outside. A big hit there from Gardner Johnson. Be a loss of 1. A.J. Dillon has been able to break off a couple big runs today, which has given him his 6 carries for 60 yards, but it's really just been a couple of those where it's actually been good. As why did Deion Jones not knock that one away? Instead, Oliver gets an easy catch for the first. No idea what happened there to kind of our number 1 linebacker. He kind of shifts back and forth between him and Stockton due to the progression from Stockton, which he hasn't made too many big plays, but he's definitely seen some growth as a rookie. As they get this one out to Dillon, it's Crowley there to escort him out of bounds. And up to this point in the game, haven't seen any real problems with Crowley out there despite his low ratings. As they look for another quick throw to the outside, it's Dillon, not gonna get by Jones. We're not quite done yet. One more play here to get back off the field. It's 3rd and 14. Can't give up any big plays. As we give up a big play, it's Addison who gets chopped out by Sidney Brown, but they're down to the 24. Coverage just sank too low there, and they weren't paying attention to the crossing route. As they go back to Dillon, it's Jones who filled well, but they still gain 8. Now would be a good time for our defense to force a fumble, get a sack, something big, get a little bit more of that momentum back on their side. As they swing it out, it's Dillon. Crowley slows him down, but he still picks up the first. It would be a hard-pressed situation for a corner to try to bring down Dillon in a solo manner, and he nearly did there, just didn't quite wrap up enough. As Dillon breaking through, but tripping over the diving defenders. Will end up buying us at least another play here. 1st and goal at the 2, and Jones and C.J. Gardner-Johnson bumped into each other, opened it up for A.J. Dillon as both the defenders were free. Vikings now hold a touchdown lead. And here's where we need our offense to come through for us. Need to tie this game up late. 2 minutes 45 seconds is all we have left. As we swing it out late, we do find Jordan Thomas, who gets picked up and slammed down out of bounds by Bobby Wags. We definitely need to see a little bit more of some of that. Just short, quick passes, take the easy throws. Don't try to force anything downfield. As we do basically the same thing, but Tommy Tremble shakes the defender, is going to pick up an extra couple yards, then back out of bounds with Bobby Wags. We'll say despite Wagner being 34, 35 years old in this season, he's still flying around a good bit. As we need a double move, we don't quite get it. Instead, it's Mingo coming across and picking up another massive first down and a whole lot more. Plus, once again, getting out of bounds. So far, we've been highly efficient this drive. As we have a 1st and 10 down to the 34. A little bit of some RPO dialed up. Trying to get Hubbard to the outside and not going to get out of bounds this time. But clock will stop as Hubbard is a little bit shaken up. He got up, but a little woozy. We might have to have Cam Akers finish this game out as Hubbard heads to the sideline at 2nd and 8. We'll stick with the quick throws. It's what we typically do best as it's out for Tommy Tremble, but he can't hold on to it. This very much is 4-down territory or you could consider taking the field goal and hoping you could get the stop on defense. Give yourself another chance as we get this one out for Akers. Blocks open up well, and once again, we edge out a first down. Just continuing what we do. Not massively getting a lot of these first downs, but just squeaking them out. As it opens up for us underneath here, we look for Hayden Hurst. Gonna get close to and not picking up the first that time. However, will carry us to the 2-minute warning. We need at least the touchdown to tie. A quick stop from the defense and a field goal could be perfect. But how often does perfect happen? As we head back out after the 2-minute. Look for Hurst to that front pylon, depending on what the outside corner does. Actually hold that pretty well, but coming across is Chenault, but the throw is wayward. So on 3rd and 1, need about half a yard, about the length of the football. Chuba Hubbard is back out there, and it's opened up right down the middle. He's trying to weave away, but he does get us down to the 3 before getting dragged down there by Harrison Hitman and Murphy Jr. Clock sitting around the 1.5-minute mark. Still staying spread. Got some slants or some quick stops. Instead, Young, he's going to weave, but not into the end zone. A touchdown-saving tackle there from Coburn. And they're playing press on the outside there with Hubbard. We have a couple options to the other side as well. And we might need one of those, as it's a bad throw to Hayden Hurst. Luckily, a defensive lineman was in coverage. Well, that could have been extremely costly. Though the defensive line looks favorable here, if we could get the blocks, it's Akers down to the 2 for 4th and goal. Looked like it should have been a walk-in touchdown. It's actually a very unfavorable spot. They mark us 1.5 yards away. Hard count, no one jumps. Jordan Thomas, fullback dive, is stuffed at the 2. Well, I very much feel like the real-life Minnesota Vikings right now. We need a safety. We have all 3 timeouts. Get the 2 points, the ball back, and it's Dillon getting dropped in the end zone. Tack on the 2 points. We're getting the ball back. 29 seconds left with 3 timeouts. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We don't typically go with the deep throws, but we're going to need some here. 22 seconds. And we're back here at the 25. A whole lot of space to go, and we need some big plays somewhere. As it's lofted deep, it's nearly intercepted. I'm pretty sure Bryce Young was past the line. And this is where us not having true deep threat receivers can be a little bit costly. We're sending everyone deep. 15 seconds left. We need some plays. Hayden Hurst coming across. It's just too far away from him. We haven't really been able to beat the outside guys. We have press coverage, though. Mingo on the right-hand side could be an option, or Chenault to the other side. It's Mingo who has the step, but it's overthrown. We just have not been able to connect on these deep throws. It's not part of our game, and when we're forced to get into it, we've struggled with it. We got 5 seconds left, unless there is a penalty somewhere. As we throw it right before the hit comes in, Mingo or Chenault, he breaks away. He's got to get going. Lewis C dives and misses as we steal the game. The opposite of the Minneapolis Miracle. It is 32-31 at the end of regulation. Laviska Shenault Jr. Great job to get that ball away, but it all comes down to Laviska. Bounces off of Blackman, who gets taken out by Bynum. And we steal a game from the Vikings. How fitting is that, considering I'm a Vikings fan? But wow, what a game. We should have won this one in a landslide. There was a lot of mistakes that stacked up in that game. Vikings turned things on offensively in the second half. But wow, what an ending. How crazy was that? What a way to end it. And on top of it, it gives us a breakout quarterback opportunity next time. Bryce Young threw for 444 yards and 3 touchdowns in that one. 63% completion percentage. Obviously, he missed some throws here and there. The deep game, it's not our game, but we came up so lucky on that last one. I mean, almost identical-ish to the Minneapolis Miracle, right? Where the corner and the safety smack into each other, they fall down, and the receiver is able to just sprint away. Luckily, Laviska Shenault was able to stay on his feet. He was tripping a little bit there, but wow. What a game. Bryce Young also had 2 rushes for 37 yards. But the game winner went to Laviska Shenault Jr., who just had 2 catches in that entire game. 86 yards, and 75 of them came on the final play. Crazy. And, you know, we've harped a lot on this defense for some bad plays. They played a better game today. Not a full game, but a better game. And we got to give at least some credit to the one and only sack we got from this game in DJ Johnson. He fought through some injury as well. The only left outside linebacker for us to actually record not only just a sack, but a single stat in his first start. He had a tackle for loss, the sack, the tackle, solo tackle. It's all one thing. He really just did one thing, but it's still an improvement over everyone else. As for the coverage, though, it was really good. Our new guy that we signed, Kyle Fuller, he did a pretty solid job. Only got involved in a couple of tackles, and they were both assisted tackles. But we weren't getting consistently beat deep, and I don't even think he was beat on a single coverage snap. So great to see that signing work out well for us. On top of that, I think, as I mentioned in the game, Crowley did a pretty solid job. I would like to have Cash back, and barring any sort of another practice injury, he should be back for this next game. Taking on a really good defense here in the Commanders. 87 for that rating with Jonathan Allen smack dab right down the middle. We've struggled against good trenches, and we very well might be going up against at least a good defensive trench. That game, though, did very much help out a lot of our team's ratings. We jump up to 5th in passing yards offensively and 10th in rushing yards, and the defensive rushing has cracked the top 10. So we're doing better. We still have our glaring weaknesses, but this is a pretty raw team. We improved to 2-4, right behind a 3-3 Buccaneers and Falcons. We play the Buccaneers not next game, but that will be on Friday's game, as the Commanders will be on Thursday. So make sure you do not miss out. Hit that bear icon on the bottom right, or scroll down and hit the sub button. They both do the same thing. And subscribing to this channel is completely free to you, but just helps grow the channel as we're closing in on the 1K subs. You got this series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday with the state-only challenge, currently Michigan, every Wednesday and Saturday. So do not miss tomorrow's episode as we start really our first big push for the playoffs from what should be a pretty good off season. So do not miss out. We will see you then, and we'll see you for the Commanders game next time.